I'm Lindsay Lippman. Here are your headlines from Central Texas. A proposal on the Texas ballot could give judges more power to deny bail to people accused of violent or sexual crimes, but a legal expert says it could go too far and may even raise constitutional concerns. Adriana Alexander breaks down Proposition 3.
Right now, the Texas Constitution allows for most defendants to be released on bail, except in certain cases like being charged with capital murder or certain repeat felonies. But a proposition that will be on the November ballot would open the door for more accused people to remain behind bars.
One interesting thing that this provision that Proposition 3 does is articulate sort of specific purposes that bail is supposed to serve.
Proposition 3 would require judges to deny bail in certain cases for people accused of violent or sexual crimes. This is a part of a broad legislative package to crack down on bail laws across the state. However, University of Texas at Austin law professor Jennifer Lauren said among many concerns, Proposition 3 could limit judges' ability to make important decisions.
Proposition 3 limits the judge's discretion, says as soon as you find that there's a flight risk or that there's a chance of danger to the community, you must deny bail.
And for those incarcerated, it raises a challenge to get proper access to legal representation.
Yeah, it actually does make it more difficult. And I think, the studies that have demonstrated that have quantitatively demonstrated worse outcomes in criminal cases for individuals who are detained pre-trial as compared to similarly situated individuals who are released.
Ultimately, Lawrence said Proposition 3 highlights a deeper question about who should control pre-trial decisions, judges or lawmakers.
Nobody ought to minimize the experience of a victim of crime. The shift comes in what the charge selection is now, right? Deciding what the charge is going to be often determinative of whether an individual is released or not.
If this bill does pass, Lauren added that it will likely be challenged by the Supreme Court as it could arguably be a direct violation of the 8th Amendment. Texans will vote on Proposition 3 during the November 4th election. Early voting begins Monday, October 20th. Meantime, October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Terrace Goodwin, president of the Bell County, Texas Democratic Women, emphasized that domestic violence impacts the entire community, touching families, workplaces, and the overall safety of Bell County. Sydney Walker tells us how raising awareness can help the community.
Bell County is taking a stand.
Their community stands behind them, beside them, and we're here to help.
Against domestic violence.
We are a community that takes care of one another, and we do know that the impacts of domestic violence are far-reaching.
Terrace Goodwin, the president of the Bell County, Texas Democratic Women, says the cause is near and dear to the organization and to her own heart.
My mother was a victim of domestic violence in the past. And as a nurse who works inpatient in the hospital, I've witnessed firsthand injuries at the hands of these situations.
It's become a bittersweet tradition for the group to bring forward the proclamation.
Unfortunately, it's no less relevant today than it was in the past.
To the Bell County Commissioner's Court.
Anything that we can do to make that easier.
Commissioner Louis Minor with Precinct 4 says it's important to raise awareness, especially as an elected official.
It's breaking those barriers down in a time of need.
This year, Goodwin says they're shining a light on local resources.
We run a domestic violence, sexual assault shelter.
Like Families in Crisis.
We can provide shelter. We can also provide any outreach services that they need.
William Hall says assault cases in Bell County are higher than the national average.
We look in the room at our meetings and just out in the general public. So many people have been impacted by domestic violence.
It's a trauma that often goes unshared, but impacts our entire community.
So what that means is that our friends, our neighbors, our coworkers, many of them are impacted by this.
Well, Goodwin says to survivors, you're not alone. It's not your fault, and all of Bell County stands with you. If you or anyone you know needs help, you can dial the hotline at 1-888-799-SAFE. And those are your headlines from Central Texas.